So I got the benefit of, with Dr. James going out to Guatemala and Reverend Lori Savage, who does all of the slides and everything, they needed my talk title and they needed, all of the information from me weeks in advance before I arrived here today. And so I thought, awesome, I had plenty of time to prepare, and I was thinking about what I would want to talk about. I had a talk title, which was Namaste, and I did not know what that meant, but I was going to figure it out in the next several weeks before I got to this stage. And so I've been sitting with this theme of Namaste, not really knowing, and this theme of remember. And, I was going through my week, and I was driving on the freeway and something smacked my car, and not only did it destroy my bumper, but a little sensor that tells me when I'm about to hit something popped out, but it didn't break the sensor, which is great. So now every time my car is stopped, my car continuously beeps at me until like I'm going to hit something. So every red light, it's like beep, and I was like, nope, I'm still feeling this Namaste energy. I'm good, right? And then, I had my doctor sent me for a test because they found something that they didn't particularly like, and I knew, and I was staying in that energy of like I knew that I was okay, and it turned out it was okay, and I was perfectly fine. And I thought, look at me remembering who I am, walking through life knowing who I am. I'm a vision of this teaching. I have so much to share with you on Sunday. And then the massacre happened in Texas. And I did not feel equipped to come up here and speak to a congregation and inspire when I felt very, very human. I felt the emotions that I've seen outpoured on social media and in the media, and I felt the anger, and I felt the compassion, and I felt the powerlessness. I felt powerless, but mostly what I felt, if I'm to be really, really honest with all of you, most of what I felt was just exhaustion. My soul felt tired from everything. It just felt like it was piled upon piled from Buffalo the week before and the war in Ukraine and everything that's been happening. I felt the weight of all of it, and I felt compassion for the families, and I felt compassion for the people who survived that were supposed to now figure out how to move on and to live after this. And I kept hoping that Dr. James was going to call me throughout the week and say, this is too big for you to handle, little one. I've got this, and I'm coming back from Guatemala early. And he did call me, but he called me, and he called me just to tell me that he loved me and that he was thinking of me, and there was no mention of, I've got this, or you don't have this, or anything. And what I recognized, actually, after Dr. James called me, while he was on a boat in this beautiful water, traveling back from having worked at Casa Guatemala, I heard the voice inside of me saying, I know that you feel powerless, and I know that this hurts, and I know that your soul is exhausted. Now, what are you going to do about it? So we come together every Sunday and we say our vision statement, which is love only, forgive everything, and remember who you are. And then sometimes Dr. James will say afterwards, if you've got that last one, then the other two will take care of itself. But here's the truth. When I got really quiet and I sat with those feelings, the reality is, if I don't have the third one, I can't possibly have the other two. There is no way for me to love only, to walk through this world in love only, no matter what, or to forgive everything. And it doesn't say forgive almost everything, it says everything. If I don't know who I am. And if we want to see the world differently, then we have to be different. So the truth is, it's time to stop living small. It is time to stop. We don't have the luxury of forgetting who we are from time to time. And I think we talk about it here, and we talk about how difficult it is. We talk about, like, is it easy to remember who you are? And we talk about, and most of us on any given day are the me that's driving in the car and a big old spring hits the car and we go, well, I guess that's what we have insurance for, and chuckles when the sensor goes off, right? We sit in this teaching and our lives get better, and we learn how to live in a consciousness of joy and love. But I don't know about you, but I didn't feel that consciousness of love and joy in that moment. And so the work to do is to remember who I am. Because when I remember who I am, the ripples that I send out into the world are loving, are kind. And when we forget who we are, in those moments of weakness or in those moments of whatever we're going through, when I feel broken, the ripples that I send out into the world are not that of love only or forgive everything. When I feel like I am broken, I go out into the world as somebody who's broken, as somebody who can be perpetrated upon. I go out into the world and maybe I'm snippy to a waiter, or maybe I'm not. I'm never snippy to waiters. I really appreciate what they do, but the message stands. When I'm not being kind and loving to my family, when I'm not being kind and loving to the people around me, how can I possibly expect that the ripples out in the world are going to reflect joy and love? It starts with us, folks. We no longer have the luxury of forgetting who we are. And it is as simple as a decision. It is as simple as a choice. Because it feels like we're running out of options. And what I've done hasn't worked. It's worked in moments, and it's worked in certain scale. The job that I have today is not the job that I had when I first joined this teaching, because my self-esteem grew and I understood who I was at a higher level and a higher vibration, and I attracted that into my life. But somewhere inside my consciousness, I don't believe that I am powerful enough and don't know who I am enough to send those ripples out bigger. And quite honestly, it feels really, really, really important, vitally, critically important for me to clean it up and get my stuff together. The reality is, you want to know the truth? Because warts and all, I have family members right now at this moment that I'm not speaking to because they hurt me. Because there was this place inside of me that felt broken, and they touched it by their actions. And what I tell my children is that hurt people hurt people. You know, when my kids would come to me and they would say, so-and-so said, called me this name or said this to me, my first question would be, well, is it true? And they'd, of course, say, no, Mommy. And I'd say, okay, well, if so-and-so told you that you had blue eyes, would you be mad? They'd be like, no, I don't have blue eyes. My eyes are brown. And I'd say, okay, well, if it's not true and it doesn't resonate with you, then it can't impact you. It says more about them than it does about you. So the work is for me to know who I am at the level and to walk in this world at the level that the best of me is loving the best of you and seeing through everything else, no matter what. No matter what. I'm asking for all of us to know who we are at a level where radical forgiveness is possible. I'm asking for us to call up radical Uncle Ernie that's got diametrically opposed political beliefs than you do, and to love them anyway. Because what I've seen is a lot of people with really loving hearts who know who they are most of the time, and I have seen the divides happening. I have seen mask and no mask, and vax and no vax, and Republican and Democrat, and I see it in me, and I see it in you, and I see it in the atrocities that are happening in the world. We cannot pretend that the actions that we are taking today aren't having an impact on the energy and the vibration. So my commitment to all of you, I'm going to clean it up. I'm going to call the family members that hurt me. Because the truth is the only thing that's going to heal it is love. And this isn't a judgment on any of us. This isn't a judgment on me. It all begins with self-compassion. It all begins with self-love. It all begins. How do we start to heal it? How do you remember who you are all the time, no matter what? It starts with self-love. It starts with compassion for self. It starts out with recognizing that I go out in the world every day trying to do the best that I can. And sometimes I fall short. The thing is that if I can forgive me, if I can have compassion for me, then I can have compassion for you. Then I can forgive you. Then I can love you. And it starts with recognizing what we require. What is required in my life to walk through the world knowing who I am and living at the highest vibration? You know, I spent a lot of my life going to dry wells for water, wondering why I was thirsty. Like, the onus is on me. I have to stop expecting you to suddenly be a spring well of liquid. It is my job. It is my job to clean it up. And it's hard. We are in a teaching of personal responsibility. And so I don't know what the end result is, to be honest with you. I don't know what it looks like if we all walk out of here with a commitment to own our own vibration, to own our happiness, to be mindful of the ripples that we're sending out into the world. You know, they talk about the butterfly effect, and I don't care if it's been debunked or not. The butterfly effect still stands. That a butterfly flapping its wings here has impact on weather patterns across the globe. But what I do know is the butterfly doesn't spend a moment in any sort of awareness or wondering or thinking about the impact it's having on the weather patterns. The butterfly just flaps its wings. We don't get angry at flowers for wilting, we just water them. Love only begins with loving ourselves enough to let go of anything that causes anything in our mind, in our consciousness, in our souls, in our psyches, to produce anything other than love. We are being called to love each other when we are at our most unlovable. We are being called to give the people with the worst behavior a hug because that's what they're calling out for. We are being called to love ourselves enough to create the world that we want to see from that place. And from that place, anything is possible. We teach that we live in a quantum universe. We teach that we have unlimited possibility. Joe Dispenza teaches that you can change your entire life by changing your thoughts. So what are we thinking? Because I got to tell you guys, if it's not happening with us in this room who show up every Sunday, spreading this message, trying to live this teaching, living this teaching to the best of our ability, who's going to do it? It has to start here, and I have to believe that if I begin knowing who I am, no matter what, and if I begin to love you, no matter what, and if I am able to forgive everything, no matter what, those ripples that I send out into the world have the power to, bless you, to change everything. If I could impart one message on my children, Dylan and Talexi, it's that I love you beyond measure, that you are my world and my everything, and I will love you and support you through every mistake that you might make or perceived mistake, and every twist and turn that life has to offer. And it is so easy for me to look at this perfect, beautiful boy and say that. But here's what I'm willing to offer the rest of you today. I will love you unconditionally, no matter what, through every mistake, through every twist and turn that life might take you. And I offer that as my mantra from this moment forward, no matter what. I honor the place in you where the entire universe dwells. I honor the place in you which is of love, of truth, of light, and of peace. I honor the place in me in which the entire universe dwells. I honor the place in me which is of love, of trust, of light, and of peace. When you are in that place in you, and I am in that place in me, we are one. Namaste. Thank you.